I think there's a trust component from a quality perspective and an efficacy a formulation perspective. I also think a lot of our products are multitasking and they work kind of really hard, so you don't have to. A lot of them over deliver, and I don't want to say we under promise, but there's a quality component that if you like one thing and it really works, and you start shopping across category or across brand, whether that's through scent or formulation, it's really interesting to kind of see how customers grow with us.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm here today with Ashima Jain. She's the Vice President of Global Creative and Retail Store Design at malin+Goetz. Ashima, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, excited to have you. So Ashima, why don't you start and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm at malin+Goetz. I've been there a little over 8 years. I have a background in graphic design. I run the creative team globally. I also oversee retail store design, live in New York City, and I've been here for a long time.
That's fantastic. It sounds like, you've had an interesting journey. I can't wait to hear more about kind of your background. Tell me a little bit more about malin+Goetz.
malin+Goetz is a small family-owned skincare company. We've been around for 20 years. March actually will be our 20th anniversary. We have 22 stores globally. We have a pretty robust amenities business. I think a lot of people discover us in a hotel or a restaurant or a gym. And we're growing a lot globally, overseas, which is super exciting.
That's really fantastic. So, you mentioned kind of some of the products that malin+Goetz sells. Talk to me a little bit more about the different offerings.
Yeah, so we play in a few different categories. We have our apothecary, which is our face, body, and hair section. Amazing cleansers and moisturizers. And then we also have a home category and candles and fragrances.
Interesting. And, the design and packaging of malin+Goetz is very distinctive and minimalistic. So kind of as part of, being that global creative team, how do these aesthetics contribute to the brand's identity?
Design is a really huge part of the brand at malin+Goetz. I think it's a pillar, and it's really at the core of the philosophy, not only from the packaging, but formulations and the efficacy of the products. Mm-hmm. I would say it also carries through into our store design and our experiences, whether online or in person. The logo and the concept that were developed 20 years ago, they're really a nod to an idea of a formula for balance. Andrew Goetz and Matthew Malin, who are the founders, started the brand. When they met 30 years ago now, they both had very different types of skin, and one had more resilient skin, one maybe suffered from rosacea and seborrhea and some skin allergies, and they wanted to develop a brand that both people could use for both skin types, regardless of gender. So that's kind of where the beginning of the idea came for the brand, and being able to develop packaging that was utilitarian and very simple, but also very sophisticated. I think when you're born out of this idea of living in these small spaces in cities, usually those small apartments have even smaller bathrooms, and you don't have a lot of shelf space. So design products that really could work and be efficacious, and more of a simple and streamlined regimen. We often say that less is more. Mm-hmm. And less is better, but that's kind of the core philosophy of the brand.
And obviously the skincare industry is highly competitive, and I love that there's an emphasis on, the unisex appeal for sensitive skin, for all different skin types. So, talking about building out that brand, how do you foster that sense of community? Because like you said, many people find you in restaurants or find you in gyms. How do you build out that following so that people come back to Malin+Goetz?
I think there's an amazing trust component in our products. It's something I've been saying for a really long time. People come to us through all different ways, whether it is an amenity partner or they experience us at a gym. I can't tell you how many times I've been in one of our stores and someone walks in and is like, "Oh, I was in this really tiny hotel in the middle of nowhere and I had this great shampoo and it was this great experience." I think there's a trust component from a quality perspective and an efficacy, a formulation perspective. I also think a lot of our products are multitasking and they work kind of really hard, so you don't have to. A lot of them over deliver, and I don't want to say we under promise, but there's a quality component that if you like one thing and it really works, and you start shopping across category or across brand, whether that's through scent. Or formulation, it's really interesting to kind of see how customers grow with us. And also they might, start with us with two very simple everyday products and transform or transgress into our more advanced line.
I think that's, really important to be able to develop that and have those customers that return, right? That builds out the brand and continues to grow the company. So, I'm curious how you're able to leverage, like, social media and maybe your different marketing skills to be able to say, hey, how do we pull these people back in? Talking about what really separates Malin+Goetz from its competition. Like you said, it's that unisex, appeal. It's, the minimalistic design. Is there anything else that really makes Malin+Goetz stand out?
I think that those two things are a big piece of it. I also think for us, in order to really hear kind of what people want, we do a pretty amazing customer survey every year. And, it's really interesting to see the things that we find out from our customers. They're not really beauty junkies. They're really interested in design, in food and dining. They're interested in travel, art, culture. It's not a lot of beauty junkies, which is kind of amazing. It's also a lot of people that live in cities. I think that people that have pretty busy lives, busy jobs, they want to be able to use something that really works and is quick and easy to use, but is really, really effective.
Hmm. And from that information that they've taken, that Malin+Goetz has taken from that survey, what changes have you been able to implement to you know to change some of the products?
Well, I think we every year really evaluate our entire assortment and our SKU, and obviously we do a SKU ranking and this and that. But when it comes time for innovation and development, we're not like other brands. We don't launch 50 new things a year. We're really careful actually about that, and how many times a year we launch products, and also what those categories of those products are in. I think during COVID, we saw a really big lift in candles and fragrances, and I think people were at home and they wanted to make their homes invest a little bit more in those spaces. They weren't going out, they weren't spending their money in the same kind of ways. I think for us, when we think about innovation, it's exploring into some of these new categories or further developing some scent franchises that we already have big investments in, that really resonate with our customers, and giving our customers more opportunity to shop kind of cross category based on scent.
Talk to me a little bit about, let's dive a little bit deeper into that. Talk to me about the kind of the latest innovations in skincare and fragrance products, and how has, Malin+Goetz been able to stay ahead of the curve for what's been coming?
Yeah, so we launched a fragrance last year called Strawberry, and I think you and I spoke about it briefly the last time we spoke. And this year in September, we did a line extension of it, which was a perfume oil and a candle. And it's a really amazing scent that might off the bat just seem like, oh, strawberry, what's that about? But it's kind of everything you think it's not. It's really unexpected. Our fragrances, I think it's part of the brand also. They have these very simple naming conventions of these singular kind of names, but the truth is that they're unbelievably complex and layered, and really rich. And we have these two kind of categories of vices, which is leather, cannabis, and dark rum. And then our unflorals, which are florals, but not. It's really celebrating a lot of the green parts and flowers, and maybe lighter, fresher scents that kind of lean in different directions. So, and that's, bergamot, vetiver, and strawberry sits in there too. So it's been great that fragrance launch itself was in the mix of a whole unflorals campaign, but pulling it out and really focusing on it, kind of reintroducing the fragrance now with these companion products of a candle and a perfume oil. And the candle's amazing, has a 60-hour burn time, and the oil is a little bit more concentrated in a fragrance format. It's also super easy to travel with. And one of those things that's like always in my kit when I'm going anywhere for the weekend or this and that. So, it's great. I think it has a great dry down. A lot of people in the office wear it. And I actually pass people on the street and I'm like, I think that person's wearing strawberry. Yeah. It's gotten some really good, great feedback. And I think it's turning into a lot of customer kind of favorites. We did a huge amplification for it in the fall, and did some real awareness activations in New York City and in London in the last month. So it's been really successful and awesome to just see all the energy and noise after all the effort and intention put into not only the development from our innovation team standpoint, but the design, the photography, the packaging, the storytelling, the video work, all of that kind of stuff. To see it come to life is just so awesome. It was like a Saturday afternoon in September, and I saw everyone walking around in Soho with these bright pink bags that said malin+Goetz New York. And we partnered with some local New York City brands to do an activation, and it was great.
That's awesome. That's fantastic to hear. I love hearing that. And, I imagine too, as that being an extension from, the fragrance, I think you said, pulling in the oils and the candles, that really works to push out, people love the candle. Why wouldn't they get the perfume as well?
Yeah, totally. So that's part of it in fragrance. And, in the apothecary side, we have some amazing launches for next year. I can't talk about them, but what I can say is they're going to be amazing. But they're extensions off of some existing lines that we have around eucalyptus, and it's an amazing scent, and it's in a few of our products, and some products that are in our top 10. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited.
Oh, that's so exciting. That's so exciting.
Body care is one of these, growing categories, especially now, where people are really starting to put as much effort and intention into how they care for their body products like they do skincare products. I think people, when they think about it, it's like, oh, you never buy this face lotion and put it on your body. But now from a technology standpoint, we're developing really advanced formulas for body. So they're going to be great, and they're coming out next year.
I'm curious to pick your brain a little bit. Do you tend to hear any common misconceptions, whether it be about maybe, the industry, about marketing design for retaining loyal customer base? Is there anything that, really stands out to you when I ask that question?
I think, I think a few things. I think loyalty is, it's hard. It's really a hard thing. The market is incredibly competitive and really flooded. I think there's a few ways to get it and to be really good at it, and consistent with it. I think that the product itself speaks for itself. Like I said, I feel like a lot of our products over deliver. I think there's this trust component of you might go and you might buy our shampoo and conditioner and realize, oh, you love it. Now you're going to try our deodorant. Now you're going to try something in our facial skincare category. I think that people shop all over the place. The people don't necessarily just go on a Saturday and run their errands and go get this and that. When you open up somebody's medicine cabinet, you don't see all of one brand. It's a bunch of different brands. I also think people learn a ton on their phones and get exposed to a ton in the digital space. And so when we think about creating content for those spaces, what really feels authentic to us that doesn't feel so like a flash in the pan, which things really resonate. I think we We spend a lot of time on clinicals also, and an investment in not only new innovation products, but some core products. I think that says a lot to run clinicals on products that, you know, have been in the line for a long time, just to try to really be really clear about what the benefits are, and how people, you know, really love them and they really work.
I think that's terrific. Well, Ashima, this has been a terrific conversation. As we start to wrap up, is there anything that you want to leave our listeners with, whether it be about the industry, about your experience, about, you know, I know you can't tell about new products, but things coming down the line, anything that you want to leave our listeners with?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I think it's, no matter what, you have to wear SPF. I'm just going to say that. Everybody in my company knows that I'm big on SPF, and wearing that every day. I think that now that, you know, we've gotten through the majority of COVID, I think everybody's just happier to be like connecting. I can't tell you how many people have been talking about going home for the holidays or being with families and doing big things. I think I just want to remind people that you have to wear SPF every day. I think people forget about that when it's not this peak summer. We make a great SPF product for face and for lip. And, you know, it's one of those daily things where when we launched this product, I was trying to tell, we were having this discussion with the marketing team, how do we get people to think about this like brushing their teeth, where it's just like an everyday thing? But, you know, everybody wants to look good for as long as they can. And that's one thing. The second thing is check us out. Check us out online. We make really, really amazing products. And yeah, that's it.
That's terrific. Well, Ashima, thank you so much for this great conversation. I truly enjoyed our time together, and thank you for being on Business Ninjas.
Great. Thanks so much, Kelsey.
Yeah, great to have you.